Have you experienced any glitches in the matrix called life on Earth yet? Any synchronicities? Or strange behavior from the people around you? Or people on TV? Are you wondering, what the fuck is going on here? I think I've got the answer. Hi, I'm Stella, writer and lightworker, here to inspire positive change. What do these shows have in common? Westworld, The Good Place, and Stranger Things. They each portray a world that goes from bad to worse to worser, until the main protagonists discover they are the heroes, the protectors of their world. Why are these three shows so important? Well, they show us exactly what's happening on Earth right now. Westworld shows us how the game of life is being played, and that we can all advance to the point of being fully in charge of our reality. The Good Place explains the rules of the school of life. It confirms that we are each capable of positive change. And it shows us that self-growth is why we're all here, to advance spiritually. Finally, Stranger Things prepare us for what's to come and why we will save the day. Take a look at this clip. It's the movie version of Stephen Hawking explaining how black holes work.
If Einstein is right, if general relativity is correct, then
Yeah.
universe is expanding, yes?
Yes.
Okay, so if you reverse time, then the universe is getting smaller.
All right.
So, what if I reverse the process all the way back to see what happened at the beginning of time itself?
At the beginning of time itself.
Yes. So the universe getting smaller and smaller, getting denser and denser, hotter and hotter
You
as we...
mean wind back the clock?
Exactly, wind back the clock.
Wind back the clock.
Is that what you're doing? You're winding back the clock?
That is what I'm doing.
Well, keep winding. And you've got quite a long way to go. Keep winding.
I don't want to fall in.
Well, you've got to go back to the beginning of time. You've got a long way to go. Well, keep winding. Keep winding. Until you get...
a singularity.
space-time singularity. So the universe born from a black hole exploding.
Simply put, the more time moves forward, the more the universe expands. But time is not linear, and there are multiple timelines. And you can jump from one timeline to the next one, and even go back and forth in time, but you're not meant to. Any time travel should be limited to your memories and imagination. But there's a group of people, let's call them the elites, who decided they would travel back in time and reverse the order of events in a way that benefits them forever. Why, you might ask? Well, as Stephen Hawking explains it, if you were to open a black hole, it will reverse time. And in doing so, the universe will grow smaller, against the natural order of continuous growth. Why did the elites want to reverse time and make the universe smaller? They didn't. What they really wanted to do was find the Philosopher's Stone and live forever, to remain forever young, strong, and in power. Since they couldn't find a way to keep themselves young forever, they thought they would attempt to reverse our spiritual growth and keep us in a spiritual coma. Hence, the spiritual warfare we've been experiencing for a while now. The spiritual warfare is mind control, the MONARCH mind control project and the MK Ultra mind control project. So the elites cooked up this plan to mind control us to the point of restoring our reptilian brain and completely discard what Charles Darwin discovered to be one of the natural laws: evolution. Change is the only constant, and conscious change brings growth. You cannot stop the river of time nor reverse it. Sure, salmon swim against the stream, but are we salmon? No, we're far more advanced than salmon, even if you try to brainwash us into believing we're salmon. So the elites decided to go against the natural order of things by creating a society that is focused on the material world, hence the 3D programming. What they didn't realize was that the energy they used to time travel or reverse the river of time would not only open a black hole, but a portal to the underworld. This is where Stranger Things becomes ultra relevant.
You'd have to create a massive amount of energy, more than humans are currently capable of creating, mind you, to open up some kind of tear in time and space. And then you create a doorway.
Like a gate?
Sure, like a gate. But again, this is all...
Theoretical. But what if this gate already existed?
Well, if it did, I think we'd know. It would disrupt gravity, the magnetic field, our environment. Heck, it might even swallow us up whole.
Not only have the elites completely messed up with natural laws, they have created chaos on a universal level. And it's up to us to fix their mess. This is why the Great Mass Awakening is happening and why we're transitioning to the new Earth. We volunteered to come and fix this mess as a way to save the Earth. The elites wanted to colonize Earth and make it a really dark place of oppression. Picture the worst possible version of Westworld, where women, more so than men, are just dolls that occasionally reproduce, so that the owners or the key players can continue to do despicable things to different bodies. That's it. The truth is worse than The Handmaid's Tale, or maybe just as bad. But what actually happened in the process of all the brainwashing and mind control? The elites accidentally brainwashed their own puppets. All of us have been exposed to mind control tactics since the day we were born. But those in Hollywood, in the entertainment industry, and in governments around the world have gone through the worst brainwashing to make sure they never expose the truth. And as a result, they're empty shells at this point. These violent delights have violent ends, as Dolores famously said in Westworld. To understand the violence on Earth and the motives behind those that are creating it, you need to think of them as players who choose families that have been playing the game for many years to ensure that they get to have a taste of the violence too. These families are also known as the elites. You can draw your own conclusions as to who the elites are. And some of the elites have created these clubs around the world to maintain a network of players who will manage the suppression locally. These clubs are also known as the Illuminati or Freemasons. And they're secret societies in the sense that they're happening secretly. But the truth is, they don't even know what they're doing half of the time. They're mostly following orders blindly to preserve the status quo because they've been told change is bad. What the elites don't understand, or they're trying to erase it as the truth, is that the school of life is always happening simultaneously with the game of life when you come to Earth. You come to play the game so that you can learn how to manipulate energy. Everything is energy. And yes, you can manifest just by playing the game, but this has consequences in the long run to the fabric of the universe, which is why where we are today. You come to play the game to learn how to manipulate energy, but it is only through learning and graduating from the school of life that you're able to understand why you came here, so that you're no longer manipulating energy just for 3D delights, but also to accomplish your sole purpose and create positive change. And if you're wondering why God's allowed all this pain and violence, it's not because God wanted for us to suffer as a form of torture. Heaven proposes this question: if you could manifest anything you ever wanted in seconds, wouldn't life get pretty boring pretty fast? The only way to learn, grow, and evolve is through the process of experimentation, through trial and error, through loss and gain, through the law of unpredictability, to keep you curious and faithful to positive thinking. The unnecessary pain and violence you see in the world are the result of players trying to act like God, as if they knew better. And here is the final plot twist. The elites are not gods. They work with gods, but they couldn't be further from gods. They're intimidated by the spiritual abilities we have, which is why they have been trying to bring us down to their level. What is their level? Reptilian. The elites are reptilian in their nature, in their knowledge, in their abilities. And they cannot understand how they cannot cheat their way into spirituality or the school of life, the way they've been cheating their way in the game of life. Because in the school of life, you don't level up until you learn your lessons. And the elites have done all but learn in the past decades, maybe centuries. The Matrix by VALERIAN is the ultimate read to understand what's actually going on in the game of life, where we're all players, some of us more advanced spiritually and therefore with more knowledge and more connection to the spiritual world and more protection from the spiritual world. Spiritually advanced players are not easy to manipulate on Earth, even if you do manage to get them off track for a couple of years. Ultimately, we have a connection to Source that cannot be destroyed. And sometimes we'll play along with the mind games just to see what happens. Lightworkers are not only here to bring positivity, we're also here to bring justice and the truth to light. What better way to expose the undercover truth than be immersed in it? Before we complete the transition into the new Earth, there will be a split. Much like it was shown in the final episodes of The Good Place. Because some people would not be ready spiritually to make it to the new Earth, where the rules are completely different. There's no oppression or suppression of free will. No cheating, corruption, or manipulation. And the value of money and status is kind of worthless. Because that's attached to the 3D programming and the 3D consciousness. Over time, everyone will transition to the new Earth, where we'll finally be able to restore the natural order of things and the knowledge of universal laws that should not only be respected, but also applied on a daily basis. The universal laws help us change and create with more ease. As above, so below is essentially an affirmation of the universal laws and that they are applicable on Earth. And let there be light, that's just another way of saying, let the learning begin.